on our website. Then after everything, after she sent us video of herself, we comparing if she looks the same, like photos that she sent to us, all information that she provided, and everything. After that, we do video call with her. If the girl is not really serious about what she's doing, if she wants to join, if she's not, it's not just 2 clicks that she's gonna, I'll do this, okay. We make it hard for them to get on our website. So they actually, by the processing and everything, they will think, okay, I don't need all that, I'm not gonna join. If she needs that, then she will join the website and you will see profile on our website, yeah.
We get complaints by other like partners and affiliates that we work with that we're the hardest site to get a profile on, because we just don't let anybody put a profile on. And so it takes a lot of steps before we'll allow a profile to go on our site, because we don't want bogus profiles on the site. Doesn't do us any good, doesn't do anybody any good. So we are probably the most difficult site out there to get a profile on from a woman's point of view. Men's a little bit easier, although we do check you guys too.
And of course, she needs to be good looking too. No,
Yes.
not
That too.
She's good looking too, yes.
Not only
That's Ron's job to check that.
Yes.
But, yeah. All right, so what other questions you have about motivation questions, guys?
So how do the women hear about the website? I mean, is there advertisements going out or word of mouth? I mean,
We
how
have
do-
matchmakers, we have recruiters, we have our offices, and plus because our website is not, not the new website, we have many girls that come from the friends. Okay, I heard about your website, my friend got married through your website. Just recently, the girl called to the Phoenix office. Nadia, she's Ukrainian, but she's calling to Phoenix office. Like, hey, I have a friend that she registered with you. Can I register in Colombia? I was like, yeah, of course. We're gonna send information to Colombian office, and you will need to go through the process again. So they hear about, yes, we do have Instagram pages, local pages for different countries, to get the girls, to invite them. So yeah.
A lot of it is word of mouth, though.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, a lot, many women come in actually from that source.
This is cool.
Some
We're around
women will
almost
even
30
sign
years.
up at our social events, won't they? Like
Yeah,
the-
some women will, well, they'll hear about the social events so they can come to it, and then they sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get that too. What other questions do we have? Yes?
And if I were interested in starting Skyping with some of the girls from Odessa, maybe one for starters, do you know any of them personally where you can endorse saying, yeah, I know this one, she's a really good girl, I would Skype with her? Is it that type of thing I can get from you?
That sounds for me more like executive client program that we
Okay.
actually gonna recommend you the list. We're gonna look into matchmakers, such as Tanya works with executive clients. We work in with that, but yeah, we do know the girls, and I don't know the girls from Odessa, but I cannot say from the girl that she's a nice girl and then she's gonna end up crazy one, to suggest to
Right.
someone.
Right.
But yeah, when you will request the video call, even Kate, she knows a lot of girls, she will see you can ask how the Skype went, what she think about it.
But if I had like a list of 12 or 13 and I wanted to kind of have the best odds of getting a good girl at the beginning, could Kate say, yeah, I know this one personally, or is that not part of the service that they
Right
do?
now, I don't think it's part of that individual Skype calls. We usually recommend you to get to know her before, like to ask to have a few letters for you. And then if she's answering, everything looks fine for you. It's not up to us. I might like this. They want to be perfect for you. So
The thing about good girl, bad girl type thing, okay? As far as we know, all the women, and the men for that matter, are here for the right reasons, right? And so, there's really no really good or bad. If we find out, if we discover that a woman is doing things that are inappropriate for the site, then we take action and we will look into it. And if we think it's necessary, we remove that profile, okay? And then we do that. And so, we're always doing that anyway. So this is more of a personality thing than anything, right? And usually, why would a woman get rid of it? Well, maybe because it seems like she's just, her interests are not the same as what the site is about. She's more interested maybe in just trying to get money for people, trying to come up with stories that, oh, my dog's dead, my grandfather's dead, I need this, all these stories, and then asking for money. This happens on all these other matchmaking sites all the time. Money, 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 gain confidence, then get money. We work really hard on our site to see that that doesn't happen. And we do a really good job of that. We have people here whose sole job is to look for that. And when we see something like that, we check it. And that story I told you earlier, where we do the same with men. When there's problems with men, I mean, that happens too, then we have to deal with that as well. We have to get them off the site. So I think what you need to do is you need to look and see who you're most interested in based on what that is. And then if you feel there's a problem, once you start communicating with this woman, then certainly talk with Anna or talk with the Kate.
And
or
we'll look
Liz.
into it,
Yeah, and we'll look into it for sure. You know, and when you do the Skype call, you can follow up with the person on the Skype call. Well, what do you think? How do you think the Skype call went? Do you know her? What do you think? And they'll give you that. I mean, they're gonna talk to you about that, and they'll tell you what they think. But again, it's only what they think. They can tell you she's Mother Teresa, and then she turns out to be, you know, you never know, all right? You know, and then she could do that with you and be Mother Teresa for somebody else, because maybe you just hit some buttons that you weren't supposed to hit. I mean, it's a strange dynamic. You know, we had a guy once, a doctor, who was doing a Skype call with a woman, and he said, well, you look like you gained 10 pounds from your thing. And the woman's like, well, you know, I quit smoking recently, and so I think I did maybe gain
I
a
got
few
this
pounds.
already.
And then he's like, well, you should start smoking again. And, you know, this is so rude. You know, and I had to call, he was an executive client. Remember this. I had to call him and yell at him, like, you can't talk to him. John, I was giving her medical advice. You cannot do that. So medical advice is, no, it's safer for her to smoke than to be overweight. I'm like, you are an idiot. And so we had this discussion.
I
So,
had an executive client, actually, we were flying to Denmark to meet the client, and he was watching a lot of shows, you know, Monday shows, whatever, and he just missed us, and I'm like, oh, this is Peter. He's like, oh, Tanya, you, on the videos, you look like a football player, you actually not that bad.
there's a reason why he's single. You never say that to a woman. I mean, never. And that's another thing, guys, is you always want to treat these women with the utmost respect. We do. You know, it's not easy for them to go to socials. It's not easy for them to do the things they do. And we have to, you know, some guys are like, well, I traveled, you know, halfway around the world to come here to meet this woman, and she's, you know, a half hour late, and that's not acceptable. It's like, okay, you're still dating. You know, I understand. You guys go through a lot to get where you are. But these are still women, and they do a lot to do what they're gonna do, and it takes them time to get looking the way they look and everything, right? This just doesn't happen like that. And so you have to have that respect for them, and that's important. And so, and we look for that too. Usually you guys are great. Usually you guys bend over backwards to be respectful. In 30 years, I can count probably on 2 hands the times I had to really talk to guys about not being respectful to them. So I think you guys do a great job.
We actually kicked out a couple.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're not gonna tolerate any kind of physical abuse or anything like that, and sometimes that can happen, and when that does, we have to step in. It's not fun, but you gotta do it, and we do. Yeah, so. All right. But anyways, we're talking about the motivations of why all these beautiful women are on the website. Why can't they find a man, maybe? What is it, why? They can't find someone in Ukraine?
In Ukraine, you know, before the war, there was the ratios, there was like 4 guys and 10 girls. So there was already not quite normal ratios for the men and women in the country. So the girls were looking for someone abroad because the guys are spoiled in Ukraine, right? If there is like 1 guy and 5 girls for 1 guy, he can go with 1 girl and then another one will try to like take him over. So there wasn't good ratios. Plus, what you guys respect. What I see from my own experience, okay, that guys, you respect what girls do. In Ukraine, unfortunately, not all the guys respecting what we do for them. We cook, we clean the house, we like look good. We do everything for the family. And Ukrainian men, unfortunately, they've taken it like it should be
For granted.
Yeah, for granted. So when you respect it, when we do something and we see that men respect it, when he does something for us, we start doing more for him as well. So, and that's a very good combination.
Yeah, plus not enough men, plus from those we have,
Yes.
you know, some of them have drinking problems, some of them really abusive people. So it's really hard to find someone who actually would treat family, you know, nicely, who would be nice to the wife, to the kids. And I ask many times over years, oh, you came here for better life. And what? So what? Everyone wants better life. Nobody is going backwards. Everyone wants to improve something in life.
You just came here for the warm weather.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was the first things, like, oh God, this is so nice.
And then
And
the
then
July came.
I came in November, and all news were about snow in Arizona, and it was not snow, it was disgusting water. And I'm like, guys, you have nothing else to say in the news except snowing in Arizona?
It
And
kind of
that's-
snowed one day a little bit in Phoenix that day she came that month. And she's like, this doesn't snow, and everybody's going crazy, what's wrong? Now you know why they go crazy.
So-
There were some funny stories when she first came here. I mean, some of the stuff that we went through. Each other, we go, she's like, what? Somehow she was watching time wrestling on TV, and she thought it was like really real, and she's like, couldn't believe we're doing that to each other. Or she put a can of Campbell's soup in our microwave and turned that off. Because they didn't have microwaves. A wonderful, okay, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but let's say it's a wonderful addition to doing this, okay? Because when you marry someone from another culture, you're not just marrying them, you're marrying their culture.
And
You're
their
marrying-
friends.
Not my friends. But you're marrying their culture. You know, for instance, I used to be in bed at 10 o'clock on New Year's Eve. I did not like New Year's Eve. I thought it was an amateur night out. I didn't really want to partake. It wasn't a big deal to me. Oh, well, Russians. I mean, that is their holiday. I mean, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, that is the big thing, right?
That's the main holiday.
Yeah, they don't get Christmas trees, they get New Year's trees. That's just a huge thing. So now, pretty much, you know, the COVID kind of screwed things up a little bit, but before that, you know, at about 10 o'clock in the evening, all these Russians would start to descend upon our house with all their strange food with fur on it and all this stuff. I mean, real fur. Weird stuff, right? And all this stuff would come into the house, and these people would go till like 5 in the morning. I mean, even our son's like, I'm gonna call the police, it's too loud in here, you know? I mean, you know, they're crazy. But you know what? I've learned to actually appreciate that.
Joe
you know?
knows.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, you deal with that too, right? Yeah. It's just different. But that should enhance your life, right? And you're enhancing her life with your culture. I introduced her to Filiberto's. She loved that burrito. Like, oh my God, this is great, just for real. She still loves it, right? Filiberto's, that was a big thing for her. Right?
Right.
So, you know,
Love customer service in the United States.
Chipotle?
Yes.
See, so she loves Chipotle. Oh, the customer service. You can tell your Home
Yeah.
Depot story real quick.
That was, again, 90s. Because of me, they changed policies. So, you know, they making custom paint. I want to paint the house, whatever I was painting. And I asked, I said, what will happen if I don't like the paint? They said, you can return the paint for full refund if it's more than 25% left. I was genius at math. I came back home, I said, listen, we buying 10 gallons of paint. Paint whole house, leaving 25%, I don't like it. You'll give me full refund. You know, the same as Trader Joe, they had policy, they stopped doing this too. I was buying the sweet wine, now it's very popular, and back in the 90s it was only Jewish wine, and my friend, she married Jewish guys, so I was buying this wine. I said, I don't know how it even tastes. Oh, well, if you don't like it, bring an empty bottle. I'm Russian. I will bring all my empty bottles.
Yeah, customer service in Russia really sucks. She got here, was like, this is great, what a country, we can do all this stuff. Yeah, she was loving it. But that's kind of fun, right? You get to interact with this person you're gonna bring, whether it's Latin America, Asia, Eastern Europe. I mean, this is something you should be excited about, you know, if you're gonna go down this path. And you're gonna let us introduce you to all these different opportunities, because at some point, it really could just change your life amazingly. And it's cool.
As I always say, guys, just, you know, when you go on a tour, if you have time, if you have, let's say, 2 weeks vacation, right, in a month or in a tour, where you would go? You would go to Miami, I don't know, Mexico somewhere. You can go to Mexico on one of our tours. You're still gonna have fun. You're still gonna enjoy the week of your vacation. Plus, there's gonna be a chance to meet someone. And it's always great. There's gonna be socials, You're gonna be around cool people working for us, bunch of nice guys that with the same goal going there. So if you can go, if you have vacation, 1 week, 2 weeks, just go and try.
I had a guy was gonna do a club mentor a few years ago. He's gonna do his club mentor, and he called me, "Leon, signed up for his club mentor. Why?" I'm like, "What the hell are you doing a club mentor by yourself?" Really? I mean, once you go on one of our tours, it's half the cost of the club mentor. You're gonna go to Ukraine, much cooler than going to Hawaii. You're gonna meet all these different women, you're gonna do all this stuff. And he got out of the club mentor, he went with us, and he got married. He met his wife and he got married.
Did you
He actually ended
mention,
up on the Dr. Phil show, but we won't talk about that.
did you mention that guy who said, I have complaint at work, so I cannot do it again?
Well, that was the best complaint I probably ever had. The guy came to me and goes, "John, the biggest complaint I have about this tour is that it worked, and I can't do it again." Because, yeah, you know, it can work, but the tours get addictive. Ask Joe, how many guys have you had that just want to keep going on the tour because they just enjoy the tour? They enjoy it.
Yes, including yourself.
I know, and we, I understand, but we do. I had a guy that was in Thailand with us, who had been to Costa Rica, been to a couple other ones. It's like, "John, I really want to thank you and your company, because I would never be doing this if it wasn't for this. Because I can pick a destination anywhere in the world with you guys, go to a different country, and I know what to expect. I know I'm going to get the same kind of service. Your staff's going to take care of me. I'm going to be able to meet for that person, but I also enjoy just going and talking to all these women and going on dates and having all this interaction with the guys and girls and all that stuff." He goes, "There's no other place I could do that and be sure that I'm going to get the same thing everywhere I go." Because although it's a little different and the socials are done a little bit differently in some of the locations we go, like in the Philippines, when we do the socials there compared to other places, it's very Catholic. They're very organized. So they all sit, we say the prayer, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. It's just very formal. When the food comes out, the food's laid out, no one moves, and then they orderly go in line and they get their food, they come back. And then you go to Russia or Ukraine, and you put the food out and you back away really fast, because everybody's right out there and grabbing the food, and you make sure you have your fingers left. I mean, it's just different. That's just how these different places are. But they're all really, really cool. And you get to go to all these different places and experience it, and it's fun.
I just had a client who asked for a lifetime membership. I was like, "You really want to do this?" He's like, "Yeah, and every time I'm going there, why don't you just charge me once for lifetime membership?"
Well, we did that. We had once where a guy stayed in Eastern Europe all summer, did all that. We gave him a laminated pass for the socials. And we charged him enough for that, right? But he was fine with that. He was a professor from Stanford, actually. And he had all summer off, and he stayed over there. John, if you guys remember him. And he would go to every social. It was really funny. Well, it wasn't so funny, but he's going to every social. So he met so many different women, and he was going on all these dates and everything. And then one of the last ones, something happened to his phone. He lost his phone. He's like, "Oh my God, all my numbers, everything from all summer was on that phone." He was almost going to have a heart attack and die. I think he got it restored somehow, but yeah. Back up your stuff, guys, if it's important. What other questions we have, so I can let these two ladies go?
During that vetting process of getting ladies on the site, are they explained the U.S. immigration policy, the fiancé visa, what that process looks like?
We don't explain them detailed immigration service, but if they have kids, we're asking them that, do you know, if you will meet someone on our website that's most likely to be foreigner, and you will need permission for the government to move there. Are you ready for it? Or something.
Permission from the spouse.
Yeah.
We do help women and the guys, obviously, during fiancé visa.
And we give the women information about their rights, give them information about what happens if they find themselves in a domestic violence situation, and things like that. So we do all that. That's part of IMBRA, and making sure that we do that. So that's important. But you know, most of the women understand that they're going to have to come to the United States or to Australia or to wherever, you know. And so we don't explain one particular, because we deal with men all over the world, not just the U.S. And so they go to different places. But they understand they're probably going to have to go somewhere. Most men are not going to move there, although that happens. we do have more and more men that are moving to where the women are. And that's fine. There's that myth that, oh, the only thing the woman wants is that green card. She just wants to get here and then that's gonna be it. It's just not true. We've been doing this for 30 years and we see very, very little of that. Every once in a while, you might see something that could have been that. But we have not seen any evidence of that really. And when you are willing to go to her country and you're willing to live there, so she doesn't leave her friends, her family, her job, her everything, she's happy. She's like, yeah, this is great, and then maybe you work it out to where you can come here and there, that kind of thing, but no. So, I mean, I'm still waiting for her to leave me. It's been 27 years, but I'm sure it was just for the green card. It's gonna happen.
I had an interview for green card, and I don't know if you guys pretty young, but if you remember that movie, Green Card, and they had this intensive interview, everything. So I'm preparing, asking John questions. He said, what the kind of perfume I like, blah blah blah, because I'm expecting to be in different room to be asked the same question.
Make sure it's not a sham marriage after you're together for 2 years, you go in.
So I'm like, John, what kind of painting we have in the bedroom? He's like, whales. Like, shit, I took whales out 2 years ago.
I'm not very observant.
So
I would have got deported.
Maybe we came for interview and they're like, okay, and put stem. I'm like, no, it's not okay. Put me in different room. Ask him. So I started to argue with this officer. I'm like, no, it's not okay.
Yeah, she wanted to play the newlywed game then, but we came in with our baby. So you saw that we had a child together, right? And so little Nika was there, and oh, you had a baby together. Okay, you're fine. But because they're looking for sham marriages, they're looking to make sure that you guys are really living together. You have joint bank accounts, and you're doing things together. It wasn't just someone paid someone to get the green card, right? Because they will separate you, they will ask you questions and stuff, and you probably would have gotten deported because they're terrible, but they didn't. Thank God we had Nika. All right, what other questions do we have about the motivations of the women? That's what we're about right now. What's that?
Marina has a question?
No.
Maybe I'll throw a quick, curiosity question. So I know you make it as easy as possible for them as well to join the site. Do they have to have a financial level or contribution for the women to join the site?
No.
Not at all? Okay.
We don't charge. Actually, in Mexico, they do charge the women a small amount to go to the socials.
Yeah.
So the women pay a nominal fee, just to make sure, help to make sure they're going to come. Because sometimes, you'll get 100 women say they're going to come and 50 actually show. Right? So they do that. But nowhere else do we really do that, and we've never in 30 years charged the women, which actually has been a problem in some cases. Like in China, the women were really used to paying up to maybe $5,000 to be on some sites, and we could have easily charged the women there. But our model is that the women don't pay, and so we, and they thought it wasn't real because we weren't charging them. They thought it was a scam. Like, well, what's the matter with you guys? Why aren't you charging us? Right? And you would think, well, yeah, we're charging, but that's not our model. Our model is no. We're going to let the women on for free because a lot of women can't afford it that want to be on, and we just don't take anyone. So we probably reject more profiles than we put on our site, and we look at different things. We want it to be successful for the women and the men, and in some cases we just know this is just not going to work, and so we don't want to waste anyone's time. So we are somewhat picky about which profiles that we actually put up on the site. And if we were charging people, then we really couldn't do that. So that's another reason.
Thank you.
And your men, we're used to that. We just pay them. Unfortunately, that's just how this works. Why? Who came up with that rule anyway? We were in Sicily, right? Like a few months ago. And we go to this church. This is a church, mind you, a big church. And Tony and I walked up, and there's a guy out there at a ticket thing in front of this Catholic church. I'm actually Catholic. And he said, it's Ladies' Day. She can get in for free, but you have to pay. Like, what is this, a nightclub? Would Jesus like this? I mean, I think Jesus would be overturning the table right now.
Yeah.
I just want to go in and
We
pray.
just don't want to pray.
He's like,
you cannot pay.
okay, just go in. He's like, okay, thank you. I mean, Ladies' Day at the church? I mean, where do we come from? I digress. Any other questions for these women about the motivations of the women? No? We're good? All right. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Okay, some of you guys came in late, so I'm gonna